All right, what up, guys? So today we're going to go over the upcoming patch on March 5th, which is patch 1.3.3. It is including a couple of class changes and information about the Gauntlet and the public test servers and stuff. So we're just going to go over what they talked about during the campfire chat today. I'm talking a little bit quiet today because I'm sick and the girlfriend's sick and the kiddo's sick and they're taking a nap and my throat hurts, so I'm just not talking really loud. But anyway, let's get into it. All right, so let's start out with the changes that they're making to the little construct for the season. Barbarian's Warcry and Bloodhowl were affecting it, and they're resolving that, so it's no longer going to do that. Poison support no longer reapplies the construct's damage bonuses when it spreads. Bleeding support, they're lowering the bleeding damage they're reducing the bleeding damage from 20% to 10%. Burning support, they are reducing the critical strike damage from 20% to 10%. Bonus critical strike damage per skill rank reduced from 2% to 1%. And lastly, for the construct, they're changing Tempest. No longer gains bonus damage and duration when it's reapplied or when it spreads. So not really a whole lot of changes there. I don't think any of this is too much of a deal or a big deal. Alright, so starting with the Barbarian, Strategic Ground Stomp, they are, the ultimate cooldown reduction is being increased from 1 second to 2 seconds. Strategic Iron Skin is increasing fortify from 15% to 20%. Prime Call of the Ancients, the bonus damage is going from 10% to 20%. And lastly, they're changing Gore's Devastating Grips. They're giving it more ranks of Whirlwind, and then explosion damage is being increased from a maximum of 26% to a maximum of 35%. For Druids, they are buffing Wind Shear for, I guess, for early game. It gives more spirit, and it is giving you a greater damage increase. And on top of that, Wild Wind Shear is giving additional spirit per enemy hit from 3 to 4. So not a huge change, but I guess that's nice. Companion damage buffs for Wolves, Poison Creeper, and Ravens. They're giving some buffs to underused passives, and they're changing Storm's Companion, the unique, to give you more ranks of wolves and increasing Stormhowl damage 180%. Over to the Necromancer, which probably got the best buffs, particularly to the minions. And damage increased by 20% baseline on minions. Their health is increased by 10%. Hellbent Commander damage bonus is increased from a max of 30% to a max of 45%. The Cult Leader Legendary node is going from 10% to 15% per 20% attack speed. The Corporal Glyph is getting a redesign. You and your minions deal 10% multiplicative increased physical damage, and you gain 1% movement speed for each active minion. So that's going to be really nice. Necromancer is going to be able to move a little bit quicker if they're doing minion builds. Fixed an issue with Skeletal Reapers respawning too few corpses. They'll now spawn the proper amount. And just various minion buffs that are coming in Season 4. Core skills, buffs to Blight, Blood Surge, and Sever. Passives, Spiked Armor now grants Thorns and 5, 10, and 15% additional armor. Death's Reach renamed to Death's Advance, and changing the damage to distant enemies to instead grant movement speed, which that's really nice. Over to the Rogue, Heartseeker and Forceful Arrow are getting an attack speed bonus by 20%. Flurry is getting a 10% damage buff. Improved Flurry and Advanced Flurry are also getting buffs. Passives, precision stacks required for the bonuses are getting reduced from 6 to 4. And then aspects of branching volleys is getting redesigned. It's being changed to increase the damage of arrows that ricochet from barrage from 40% to 60 to 80%. Barrage's arrows have a 40 to 60% chance to split into 2 arrows whenever they ricochet. And the last of the class is Sorcerer. Conjuration skills are getting buffs. Incinerate damage increased by 40%. Enhanced Incinerate damage is being increased from 25 to 50% of Incinerate's damage. Destructive Incinerate enemy damage reduced from 25 to 30%, and Greater Incinerate immobilized duration increased from 1 to 1.5%, or 1.5 seconds. Passives and Paragon Glyphs, a couple of the underused ones are getting buffed, and that is it for the classes. As far as the PTRs go in the public test realm, I mean, we'll just have to see when it gets here. There's not really much to say about that. It's just the server where we can test patches and stuff before they go into the main game. It's hard to say how many people will even play in it. I mean, it sounds fun in theory and all, but the majority of people might play there instead of the normal servers. But it just depends on how they go about it. And then as far as the Gauntlet goes, the Gauntlet is just kind of a disappointment. We're not going to talk too much about it. It's just going to rotate different dungeons every week. Tuesday at 8 a.m. it's going to go away, and then at 10:15 they'll start the new one. That's Pacific Standard Time. And the whole thing, you're just trying to collect these proofs of might so that you get better scores. And an 8-minute time limit, you can. But the reason that it's disappointing is because it's stuck at essentially tier 70. So any build you have now that does tier 70 perfectly fine or just breezes through 100 doesn't really matter. Everybody is going to just. It's going to be way too easy. They're going to have to change it in season 4 100% if they're going to keep it. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys watch all the way through, like I said, I'm sick and the kiddo's taking a nap and stuff, so my voice is a little quiet. And yeah, if you guys like the video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that generic YouTube stuff, and hopefully I'll have something for you guys here soon. I have been running back-to-back dungeons trying to get an Uber unique to get a number, and we're at almost at 375 dungeons ran. So yeah, not going too well, but thank you guys for watching.